What happens when the biggest star in your league becomes the biggest problem for your league? What happens when the rookie you tried to humble ends up attracting the attention of $1 trillion empire? What happens when $1 billion offer lands on the table and the league that always wanted to grow suddenly starts sweating like it's a final exam? And the real question, what happens when someone with unlimited money decides they're done watching from the sidelines? Yeah, today, we're talking about the kind of plot twist that makes Netflix executives stare into the distance whispering, "Why didn't we write that?" And before we jump in, hit that like button real quick. It helps more fans find the video. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss these deep dives. Because trust me, this story, it's evolving every single day. All right, let's get into the madness. So look, everyone, and I mean everyone, has been glued to the Caitlin Clark storyline for months. The jealousy, the hits, the welcome to the league toughness that somehow looked suspiciously like, "We don't like how popular you are." The Olympic snub, the shoulder checks, the "why is she flying" commercial travel situation that felt like a deleted scene from a sitcom. The WNBA veterans were busy running the rookie hazing ritual like it was a sacred rite. But while all that noise was happening, while social media was fighting World War III over fouls, someone was quietly paying attention. Someone with the fattest wallet on the planet. And I'm not talking about Nike. I'm not talking about Gatorade. I'm not talking about a max extension in 2030. I'm talking about a rumored $1 billion disruption coming straight from the Saudi Public Investment Fund. The same group that flipped golf upside down like a dining table in a soap opera. And this rumor, which lived in dark corners of the internet for weeks, just got validated publicly by Stephen A. Smith.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Before I get on out of here, I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark.
When Stephen A. Smith says a rumor has legs, brother, it's already standing and stretching. Now let's pause for a second, because this move, this billion-dollar chess play, isn't just about Caitlin Clark. The Saudis reportedly want two centerpieces for their breakaway league, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. And honestly, that pairing is genius in the exact kind of evil villain way billionaires think. Caitlin Clark, the generational shooter, the face of modern women's sports, the biggest draw since prime Diana Taurasi. Sophie Cunningham, the charismatic fire starter, the camera magnet, the personality with crossover appeal, the player whose fan base goes hard. Put them together and you get something the WNBA can't fight. A superstar. A marketable star, a rivalry, a brand, a whole entertainment product. That's not a team, that's a franchise. That's a Marvel Phase 1 lineup. And the WNBA? They cannot match that financially. They cannot match that structurally. They definitely cannot match that, well, aesthetically. Now let's talk Stephen A., because this man has been losing his voice over Caitlin Clark for half a year. He screamed about the rough treatment. He tore into the league for the jealousy. He called out the refs. He called out the vets. He called out the lack of protection like he was the official spokesperson for "Why are we doing this?" When everyone else was saying, "This is just competitiveness," Stephen A. was saying, "This is jealousy, plain and simple." And now, he's saying something scarier. The market always corrects itself. That's not commentary. That's a warning. That's basically Stephen A. standing in a thunderstorm holding a sign that says, "Told you so." He said you can't keep someone worth hundreds of million dollars locked in a $76,000 salary. And he's right. Let's talk numbers, because the numbers are disrespectful. Caitlin Clark's rookie salary, $76,535. Her entire 4-year deal, $338,000. Benchwarmers in the NBA make that every Friday. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark single-handedly boosted WNBA attendance, ratings, jersey sales, TV coverage, sponsorship interest, and social media engagement. She basically dragged the WNBA into relevance with a jump shot and a ponytail. And in return, she's flying Southwest with a neck pillow she bought at Target. Come on, man. So when someone shows up with $1 billion, that's not an offer. That's a jailbreak. Now, zoom out. This isn't just about money. This is about power. This is about control. This is about what happens when a league undervalues its biggest star. And we've seen this before. Live Golf didn't ask politely. They showed up with bags of cash like Oprah with a vengeance. You get $150 million. You get $200 million. You get generational wealth. People scream sports washing. But once the checks were cleared, funny how the outrage slowed down. And that's men's sports, where the athletes are already rich. Women's sports? Completely different story. WNBA players have been underpaid forever. They've complained about travel forever. They've begged for charter flights forever. They've asked for investment forever. Now someone is saying, okay, here's everything you asked for, times 10. Is that sports washing? Is that financial opportunity? Is that both? Yeah, probably both. But ask yourself this, could you turn down generational wealth because Twitter might yell at you for a month? I'm just saying. Now let's talk Sophie Cunningham, because her involvement is not random. This rumored league wants a global face, like Caitlin Clark, a charismatic personality, like Sophie Cunningham, a media-friendly duo, social engagement, brand power, on-court drama, international marketability. Sophie checks all those boxes. She's tough, she's flashy, she's popular, she trends often. She has crossover appeal outside hardcore basketball fans. Plus, if you're building a new league, you don't want 50 superstars. You want a few big stars that define the brand. Caitlin's the hero. Sophie's the firecracker. Together, ratings machine. Now let's talk the WNBA's role in this mess because, oh boy, if the WNBA had embraced Caitlin Clark from day one, if they had protected her, if they had marketed her properly, if the veterans had welcomed her instead of aiming elbows at her ribs, we would not be here. But instead, she got treated like an invader, a disruptor, a threat to the old guard. Diana Taurasi went on ESPN and practically warned her like a villain in a Disney movie. Reality is coming. Then Clark got hammered in game after game. The refs swallowed whistles like Tic Tacs. The league shrugged, and then they left her off the Olympic team. Imagine being the biggest star your sport has had in 25 years and getting told, nah, you're good, stay home. At this point, if Caitlin Clark leaves, can anyone honestly blame her? Now think about the WNBA front office. They're negotiating a huge TV deal right now. Billions on the line. Their entire pitch to Disney, Amazon, NBC is basically, Caitlin Clark saved us, look at our ratings, please love us. If she leaves, that pitch dies instantly. Networks aren't paying billions for the WNBA. They're paying billions for Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Take her out, the numbers fall off a cliff. And the veterans who were salty about her spotlight, their revenue share collapses too. You cannot make this irony up. Now let's address the moral police, because they will show up. Saudi Arabia, human rights, ethics, sports washing, all of it. These conversations matter. These conversations are real. But so is this. Women have been underpaid forever. Women athletes constantly get told, do it for the love of the game, instead of, here's a real salary. And now, finally, someone is offering them what they're worth. So, ask yourself this. Is it fair to demand moral purity from the most underpaid athletes when the most overpaid athletes already took the money years ago? It's messy. It's complicated. It's not black and white. And that's exactly why this story is huge. Now let's talk silence, Because silence is loud. No one has denied the rumor. Not Caitlin Clark, not Sophie Cunningham, not their agents, not Stephen A., not the league. In sports, when a rumor is false, people shut it down fast. When a rumor is real, everyone suddenly becomes a mime. And oh boy, it's quiet. Quiet like negotiations, quiet like leverage, quiet like we're listening. So where does that leave us? We're standing on the edge of the biggest shift in women's basketball history. If Caitlin Clark takes this deal, the sports world changes forever. A breakaway league, Saudi-backed, global, 2 megastars, more money than the WNBA has ever dreamed of. Better travel, better production, better marketing. This isn't a threat. This is a revolution looking for a launch date. The WNBA had a chance to embrace the future. They chose jealousy instead. Now the future might walk out the door with a billion-dollar crown.
The question isn't will she leave, the question is when. And the moment that press conference drops, when the dollar amount flashes across the screen, when Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham step onto a stage together, sports history will split in half. So now I want to hear from you. Would you watch a breakaway league starring Clark and Cunningham, or would you stay loyal to the WNBA? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm seriously curious where fans stand on this one. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button. It helps a lot. Subscribe for more breakdowns like this, because this story is just getting started. And as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome.
This is not